It's Friday. Hope everybody has had a fantastic week. But today is Friday. It is the episode that a lot of people on the channel have been waiting for this week. It is the 2023 defense. We talked about the offense earlier this week, and now it is time to talk about this defense. The group that I think has gotten better, but I also think we still have room to grow. It's the room, in my opinion, that I personally think the country is going to have on watch notice. They are going to be watching Tennessee's defense to see, do we get 5-10% better? You're going to see my take on it, man. It's your boy Ruck in the building. Welcome to Straight Up Tennessee on a Friday. Today, man, 2023 defense, man, can we get 10% better? Let's get it.
From 40, on the way, a knuckle ball. He got it!
Yo, welcome everybody, man. Hope you're having a great Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Friday night, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I know a lot of people watch the show over the weekend, man, but wherever you are today, thank you for tapping in with us today, man. It's your boy Ruck in the building. Man, at the top of the show, if you're watching here on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, man. Hit the bell notification right now so you never miss an episode. But also join the channel, man. You can join and be a part of the Straight Up Tennessee family for as little, literally, as $1.99. And that'll get you some emojis, man, that we've been working on, trying to get those distributed and get those the correct file size and all of that. You're going to get some loyalty badges as well. But also, man, you can also join at our white or our orange level. The white level is going to get you there at $4.99 a month. It's going to give you more perks. And then if you want to go big and be an orange level member, you'll be able to come chop it up with us at tailgates, get exclusive access to everything. And so, yeah, man, we are just continuing to grow this family and grow this channel. And we appreciate y'all. I mean, I really thank you guys so much. Just for the love, the support, man, you're showing us so much love and we really appreciate it. We feel it. And we want you to know, man, that every comment, every like, every view, it means something to us. But it also means a lot just to the Tennessee community, man. I think we are building something massive with Straight Up Tennessee. And it's been a journey. It's been fun. Nobody thought a year ago when we were like, man, let's just make this thing a real podcast that a year late, not even a year later. We're not a year old till August 29th. But I mean, goodness, on July 28th, who would have thought that we'd be doing the things we're doing right now? And so it's up just thanks to you guys who watch us and listen to our crazy takes and listen to just two crazy dudes from Knoxville, Tennessee, man, who love all things Tennessee, from the Vols to the Grizzlies, man. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify podcast, man, we're glad you're rocking with us there as well, man. Continue to rate the thing 5 stars, give us a review, and let everybody know why they need to be locked in to Straight Up Tennessee, man. Today's show is going to be gas. I'm very excited to talk and diagnose this defense. And the way I'm going to approach today, just for everybody listening, man, we're going to start on the defensive line. I think it is the healthiest group. It is the deepest group we have, and I think it is the group that will make the biggest impact for us as an entire defense. And so we're going to start at the defensive line. We're going to go through it, man, talk a little bit about last year. Then we're going to do the same thing, go to the linebackers, and then we'll end today's show talking about the secondary. And this is the group that I think has the most room to grow. There's so much opportunity for growth in that room. There's a lot of dogs in that room now, but there's also a lot of leaders in this room who will be transitioning away after the 23 season. We got to kind of talk a little bit about all of it. What does it look like? How can this team be better? You know, my biggest thing all offseason, my biggest thing since last year, I mean, you have games like Kentucky where we catch 3 interceptions on who was a top 2 round draft pick in Will Levis. I understand Will Levis is just not like that great. We understand that. But at the same time, he's highly touted and highly hyped up. Tennessee goes out there and catches 3 interceptions on him. But then you go and you give up 440 something yards to Anthony Richardson, who was playing the worst football to the start of the season last year, and we made him look like Tom Brady. So it's like, what do we do, and how does this secondary grow and develop? And I'm telling y'all, I have what I need to explain why that group will be better and has gotten better. But man, we want to start off right now. I want to start off with the defensive line. So obviously in 2022, the defensive line, I think, other than the linebackers, in my opinion, it was the strongest group Tennessee had on the field at all times. I mean, you got a reminder, like, let's be reminded who was there. Dejon Terry, who has transferred now and left the Tennessee program. He's no longer there. But Bryson Eason, you had Amari Thomas. You cannot forget about the dog, the boy, Byron Young, who ended up being a draft pick to the Los Angeles Rams. That group last year was special. Tyler Barron. I mean, you still have a lot of those guys on this roster, but the leader of the group in Byron Young is gone. Who does Rodney Garner lean on? I think in 2021, right, we had the same question. Matt Butler left. When Matt Butler left, everyone was kind of like, okay, who steps up? And Byron Young ended up stepping up, being that leader, being the vocal leader, but also being the leader by example every single game. You knew that you could count on BY to get it done. Who is that guy now? You know, Tennessee has SEC Media Days last week, and they take Omari Thomas. And I think that Big O is poised for a massive year. I think inside on the interior, him and Bryson Eason now, I believe, will be the starters, in my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but I think Omari Thomas and Bryson Eason right there, man, in the middle in Rodney Garner's defensive line. I think that we have the opportunity to have some of the most explosive and blown up backfields ever. I mean, you got to think. I got to spend some time with Omari Thomas back in June, and I was just like, I did not realize how big Big O is. Like, his name is not Big O for no reason, y'all. Like, the man's thighs are the size of my head. The man's thighs are almost the same size of my body. And I'm a big dude. Like, I'm a big dude. I weigh like 280. You see what I'm saying? Like, that dude is a man and a great guy, genuine guy, authentic, very fun to be around. But then you got Bryson Eason, who actually came to Tennessee as a linebacker, right? Gained some weight. He moves around in the transition between Coach Pruitt to the Josh Heupel system, and Rodney Garner gets here, and he's like, man, I want you to play inside on the nose. Well, Bryson Eason bulks up. He gets to 320, and I believe that's what he is now, 6'2", 320 in that on the inside, or 300 or something like that. But while we're talking about specific players, like, let's run down this lineup, man. Let's run down this room and really kind of dive into this, right? I'm talking about Omari Thomas and Bryson Eason at the moment. Omari Thomas has to be, in my opinion, the leader of this defense. Yes, you've got guys in the back end like Jalen McCullough, Kamal Haddon, Warren Burrell is back from injury. You have guys in the back end who will also be leaders, but I think Omari Thomas has to not only be the leader physically, but he has to be the leader emotionally as well. I think what he brings to this defense is something special, in a sense of he has the respect of his teammates because of how long he's been in Tennessee, right? He's a senior, but also he has that emotional connection with the team to where he can be the funny guy, he can be the serious guy, he can be the mellow guy. And I think that is what appoints him as being the leader for this defensive room as a whole. But you talk about the defensive line. You've got Omari Thomas coming back, Tyler Barron, 6'5" senior, Bryson Eason, 6'3", 300. Okay, I said 320. He's 6'3", 300. You cannot forget you get Roman Harrison back. Then you got Joshua Josephs and James Pierce, two sophomores who saw the field. I mean, Joshua Josephs, of course, saw the field a little bit more than James Pierce did, but these are two guys who are explosive off the edge. You want to talk about violent players. Those two young guys, two sophomores, who I'm telling you are going to get on. They are going to get on the field because of their work ethic, right? I think we've seen that talent doesn't always get you on the field in Rodney Garner's defensive line room. I mean, last year we had one of the most talented defensive lines, and we're sitting here questioning why is Tyler Barron not playing? Like, why? Well, you see Joshua Josephs get more reps. You see at times Tyree West, who is also back as a sophomore, was getting reps in there. And so it causes me to realize that Rodney Garner wants effort and intensity over talent and gifting. If you're going to come in and just be talented, that's great. If you're going to come in and be gifted, great. But if you're going to come in and work hard and be intense while you work hard, you're going to see the field, I believe, in Gardner's defensive line. So, like I said, you get Joshua Josephs, James Pierce, Tyree Rest, Dominic Bailey is back. Big Bulldog, Elijah Simmons, inside presence is very, very great with this defensive line this year. Then you got redshirt freshman Jason Jenkins, who I think a lot of people are sleeping on. I don't think a lot of people understand how good Jason Jenkins was coming out of high school. He could make some noise for us in many different ways this year. Then you get Karak Garland. Then here come the freshmen, the guys that everyone is so excited about. David Hobbs, Caleb Herring, Tyree Weathersby, Nathan Robinson, Trevor Duncan, and then the one and only Shandavion Bradley, that was the recruit that everyone was wanting outside of David Hobbs, who is also on campus at Tennessee. You can't forget about the transfer from Arizona State and Omar Norman Lott as well. I mean, this defensive line room, y'all, this is crazy. This has to be one of the most talented defensive lines in the SEC. And there's only 4 spots to play. And there is, I mean, goodness gracious, how many names did I just read? 15, 16, 17 guys who could easily be on the field at any moment, right? And so I think the defensive line is definitely the most impactful because of how much depth we have, how much and let me rewind and say this. Depth is not good unless it's good depth, and we have that. When you're telling me Joshua Josephs, James Pierce, Tyree West, Tyree Weathersby, David Hobbs, Shandavion Bradley, Omar Norman Lott, that these guys potentially will be coming in after the first play, like they're not starters, and I'm doing quotes for everybody rocking with us on Apple and Spotify, like for them to not be listed as starters, that is incredible depth. And this defensive line is going to be nasty. I expect 4-man pressures. I don't think that we have to send 5 and 6 guys like we had to last year. You know, there was multiple times where we're just sitting there wondering, man, why is there no pressure on the quarterback? What is happening? I'm not sure we will question that anymore. With this defensive line, year 3 now for a lot of these cats under Rodney Garner, he is going to get what he wants out of him. And if he doesn't, you're not going to play. We've seen that. That's how Rodney Garner runs his defensive line. Again, he wants effort and intensity over gifting and talent. And this defensive line is extremely talented, and they are going to have to play violently. And I think the 4-man rush this year will be the nastiest thing we've seen in a defensive line in a long, long time. I want to jump on over to the linebacker room. This is a room that is not very large. It's not deep, per se, but it is extremely, extremely talented. I mean, last year you lose Jeremy Banks, you lose Solon Page, and a lot of people don't realize how much of an asset Solon Page was. Solon Page was like a 6-year senior last year, I believe, but he had played a lot of football and understood a lot about the game of football. He made plays when needed. He wasn't the best linebacker in the linebacker room last year. He wasn't. But I'd say that he might have been the most experienced and the highest IQ because he brought so much to the game. When he was on the field, he was always in the right place at the right time, it felt like, and he made plays. You lose Jeremy Banks, which some people will say praise the Lord, but I think other people will say, man, Jeremy Banks was a dog, right? Yes, Jeremy Banks might have gotten into some trouble the week of the South Carolina game, had everybody on the team kind of like not present in the moment, and we get absolutely tapped by South Carolina and ruin our college football playoff chances, right? I think a lot of people are still holding on to that and upset about it. But when you actually look at Jeremy Banks, he was a dog. Like Jeremy Banks brought so much to the defense. He brought that straight. I can't even explain it any other way except he brought that dog to the defense. Like that's the same type of energy I need from Omari Thomas this year. And we know this right now. Okay, let's go through the list. Let's go through the list of who's back. Jeremy Banks is gone, right? Solon Page, a couple more. But who's back? Aaron Beasley. Aaron Beasley has to be the best linebacker in that room. I understand that we get a transfer from BYU and Keenan Peely, who has seen a lot of football, who has beat Tennessee at Neyland Stadium when he was at BYU in 2019. But Aaron Beasley has fought through adversity while being at Tennessee. I don't know if you guys remember all the Caden Salter and Beasley when they all got suspended from the team. Salter transfers to Liberty, and Beasley stays, gets reinstated to the team, and has blossomed into one of the top 5 linebackers in the SEC. Aaron Beasley is the leader of this room. And he showed us, I mean, really from game one that he was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't just like, I'm just out here, yeah, I'm out here doing my thing. I'm a hand, No. Like he made plays at the right time. He's in the right place. He's not just a guy that can go get the quarterback. When he sits in coverage in his zones, he's really sitting in the zones in the right places. He's not overshadowing a tight end when, man, I know I need to focus on the middle third of the field. Like I'm not, he's really, really he understands the game of football. And it helps that he's a dog. Like it helps that he's like, man, when they send me on a blitz, like I'm going to get him. You know what I'm saying? So you get Aaron Beasley back. You get a sophomore in Elijah Herring. We got his little brother, Caleb, now. But then you got Caleb Perry, who's another sophomore. Then obviously Keenan Peely, the transfer from BYU. And then you got 3 freshmen that everyone is talking about and everyone's very excited about it. Arion Carter, Jalen Smith, and Jeremiah Thielander. I think this whole room might see the field this year. And I think it is because with the snaps that Aaron Beasley is going to play, he's going to need breaks. I think last year even, man, towards the back half of the year, Aaron Beasley had the most tackles. Like Aaron Beasley started averaging 10, 15 tackles a game, man. I mean, he has to at some point take a break during these games. And I wonder which one of these young guys, and from Elijah Herring to Arion Carter, Jalen Smith, Jeremiah, like which one of these young guys is going to separate themselves from the pack and be able to contribute in 23? That's my question. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of the young guys, right? The spring game is not a great measuring stick for who's going to be what come September 2nd, right? Camp starts next week. There's a lot of things that are going to be able to move and shift into place, but we don't know enough about those young guys to say, oh, yeah, he's going to make an impact on September 2nd till the end of the year when we get to Atlanta and play in the SEC championship. Like, we don't know that. And anybody who is already like, he's going to play, like, we got to be realistic sometimes and say, I just don't know. These guys don't. Sometimes, here's the biggest thing that I'll explain. Marquez North, different guys like that. Sometimes, like Marquez North had a lot of good years at Tennessee, but then his body could not keep up. He got hurt, couldn't stay above the pack. He didn't translate the best to the college level. There's a lot of guys like that who have come through Tennessee who just couldn't flip the switch. And before last year, I think everybody thought that Ramel Keaton was a guy that couldn't transition from high school to college. But what it took was development. What it took was a receiver coach in Kelsey Pope who believed and trusted in him to go out and not only do the job, but to do the job well, to execute at a high level, to run the routes at full speed every single time, to be able to get off of press man and get open at any moment. This has to happen in this linebacker room this year. Who is going to take the coaching from Coach BJ and who is going to put forth the effort to not just get better, but to develop into exactly who they are supposed to be? This whole room is talented. This whole room has the opportunity to be like really like that. Like they can be special. But who is the young guy? Is it Arion Carter? Straight, I mean, it's a Tennessee boy. Is it Jeremiah Lander? Got him out of Georgia, straight to Tennessee. It's funny. Deion Grant, old Tennessee VFL. Shout out to you, DG. Man, I saw him tweet a couple of weeks ago, and it was probably the best thing I've ever seen. He tweeted, obviously, Deion Grant's from Georgia, went to Tennessee. He said, the real Georgia boys go to Tennessee. Oh man, how many people was hurt when he said that? But it's true. We got a lot of dogs from our on our roster that are from Georgia. And I guess that is a thing. The real Georgia boys go to Tennessee. But is Coach BJ going to get what he wants out of everybody in this room? I think so. But again, it goes back to me. In my mind, it's not about how talented you can be, because we got the talent. Who's going to take coaching and who's going to execute on their assignments so that then they can see the field and they can be successful as they continue to develop? Because you got to remember, man, Tennessee was a completely different team from Ball State to Clemson. And so over the course of the year, man, I mean, that's 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks. You know, you make a bowl game. I mean, it's almost half the year where you have time to grow and develop and mature. And that's what I think is going to happen with these young guys in this room and on the defensive line, is you're going to have time to mature over the course of the season, and which guys separate themselves, which guys get an opportunity to play. And when they get their opportunity, they make the most of it. So excited to see the defense, man. I think, again, though, still Amari Thomas and the defensive line have to be the most impactful. But I think that this group has to just continue to get better in the linebacker room. But lastly, man, this is the one where I think everybody listening has either fast forwarded already to this, or you are ready to hear my take on this Tennessee secondary in 2023. And let's just be candid here, okay? We weren't the best in 22. We just weren't. A lot of games you thought we were on the way up, or, you know, you thought that maybe there was like a break in the disaster in some games, but it was just one of those things that everybody didn't know how to fully understand why we gave up so many yards. If you are just a fan of the game, or if you're just a fan of the team and you don't really know a lot about football, then I want to give you some coach speak, or I want to give you some information on why Tennessee's defense and secondary gave up so many passing yards and completions last year. So Tim Banks runs a very high risk, high reward defense, and he's had to because we haven't had the depth at defensive line to just send 4-man pressures and tell those guys play as hard as you can and we'll sub you out. We haven't been able to do that at a high level. Well, 23, I think we're able to. Same with our linebacker room. And so what that has caused is we're sending 6-man, sometimes 7-man blitzes. And you are leaving guys on an island out there saying, hey, you be better than that guy in front of you. Now, does that mean that the guys that are guarding those other guys, like, does that mean that Warren Burrell or Christian Charles, like, aren't better than the guy they're guarding? Not exactly. But when you're sending 7 and you're telling 5 guys, hey, guard their 4, but maybe you're not playing man. Maybe you're playing a zone, and you're then telling them, hey, sit in your zone, guard that guy in front of you, but make sure you're communicating at a high level to that way we got time to get to the quarterback. Well, we had a lot of bust because of it. We send 7, we don't get any pressure, and then they throw a 10-yard slant, and because we've got 5 back there, maybe that slant was right in the middle of the zone that it needed to be, and boom, they get 10 yards. And they did it on 4th down all the time last year. And so my point is this. This room is experienced as most experienced as it's ever been. I mean, you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 guys who are seniors in this defensive back room. 8 guys who have seen a lot of clock. A lot of clock at Tennessee. Let's just start with the 8 guys I'm talking about, okay? Danico Slaughter. Nobody thought Danico Slaughter would transition as well as he did to the cornerback position, but he did and is a dog. We know what we're getting out of Nico, right? Then you got Tank, my boy, Jalen McCullough, senior. Warren Burrell, coming back off of an injury, is poised for a massive year. Kamal Hadden, yes, everybody is so mad that Kamal Hadden runs his mouth as much as he does, and I think it's time for him to kind of pipe down a little bit, but you cannot take it away from him that he is a dog. D. Williams. Now, D has not seen a lot of clock at corner or safety, but is one of the most dangerous special teams guys in the country. Brandon Turnage. If Brandon Turnage can put together a full year, he's looking at getting to the NFL. Athletic, fast, can defend. One of the best corners we have in man coverage. Every time we got in a zone, I think about the Georgia game. The Georgia game, I can't remember who it was that caught the ball. I don't remember, but Brandon Turnage was guarding him. We were in a zone, not man, and Turnage let the guy get behind him. He fell right into the middle of the zone. It was a big play. But when you play man to man, let's just go back to the Kentucky game. Man to man on the outside, Brandon Turnage is guarding Dane Key. What's he do? Pick. Brandon Turnage is nasty in man to man coverage. If he can put together a full season, game over. Then you got the boy T-Mac, Tamarion McDonald. Massive year last year for him. Played a lot of minutes, caught the first interception of the year against Ball State. And yes, a lot of people are worried about his speed. A lot of people are worried about that with him. But I'm like, yo, he's seen a lot of football. This is his second year potentially starting now. He is going to blossom Wesley Walker, we've seen that Wes is a boy. We've seen that Wesley Walker is just like one of them dudes. He will hit you, but he's also very, very good in coverage. Had a great game in the Orange Bowl. Almost had a pick there. Wesley Walker, I think, is going to get the start at free safety this year. And then you go to a guy who we haven't seen play in Tennessee Orange, but is a veteran and is going to get on the field in Gabe Judy Lally. This defensive back room is deep. That's just the 8 seniors. Like, let's not forget about Christian Charles. Let's not forget about Andre Turrentine, Jordan Thomas, Cam Miller, Christian Harrison, Deshaun Rucker, Jordan Matthews, Ricky Gibson, John Slaughter, Christian Conyer, the boy we stole straight out of Kentucky's hands, and the boy Jack Luttrell. This room, man, all they have to do is be 5%, 10% better. I'm not expecting them to like go from letting 450 yards go to letting 250. Like, that's not what I'm expecting. However, I am expecting us to sit somewhere between that 3 and 350 range. Give them 350. Make them turn the ball over. Get past deflections. Make the receivers work for everything they have. Yes, I get it, man. Last year, we lose Trey Flowers. He has been a pivotal piece as far as communication, as far as leadership in that room, but he's gone. That all rests on Jalen McCullough's shoulders. Tank is the leader of this entire group. And I personally think, and a lot of people will disagree with me, a lot of people are going to be like, man, you have lost your mind. But I really do believe that Jalen McCullough is the key to how far this defensive back room develops. He's been there. This is his 5th year. We had the boy Tank on the show, man. If y'all haven't seen that show, go ahead and go back a couple of episodes. It's the first episode in volume 3 that we did with him. And he is poised for such a big year because of how much experience, but also how much leadership he has within this room, man. Like, what he brings to this roster, what he brings to that room is a lot of that, like I said, a lot of experience, a lot of leadership, but he can play. I mean, yes, he's dealt with injury almost his entire career, but now you're in a space where there's no injury to worry about. You are the guy. It's time for him to 100% show that he's not only worthy, but that he been like that in that strong safety position for Tennessee. Communication-wise, how does he get people in the right place? And then how does he continue to develop as a defensive back? I think that is the thing that Tank can do. And I think that he has the opportunity to position himself this year to get drafted in the 2024 draft. And so my thing is, I don't know who they're going to start. The room is too deep. The Slaughter, Burrell, Haddon, Turnage, like Christian Charles, which one of these young guys is going to wake up this year, right? Like, we don't know. And I think that is why everyone is jonesing for some Tennessee football. Y'all, we are so close to some Tennessee football, bro. Like, when I say, like, we are so close, 36 days? 36? Can you smell it? Did you just start scratching your arm because you felt the fresh cut grass just sneak up on you? Did you just go put on your favorite pair of Tennessee socks in hopes that when you wake up tomorrow morning, that Game Day and SEC Nation is on TV? We're close, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, man, the success of this football team, yes, everybody says it's riding on the shoulders of Joe Milton, but I think it legitimately lies in this defense. How far does Tennessee go as far as this defense goes this year? And Omari Thomas has to be that dog for the entire defensive line. Aaron Beasley has to be that dog. Keenan Pili right behind him. And then Jalen McCullough, Tank, has to be that boy all year long. No injuries. Let's stay healthy. And we'll be talking the week of December 1st about where Tennessee and whoever we playing, what's that going to look like in the SEC championship. Hope y'all have enjoyed the day, man. I sure have. I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. Tennessee's defense, 10% better. That's all we need. That's all we need. That's all we need to be successful in 23. Hope y'all enjoyed today's episode, man. Like, comment, subscribe, join the channel. Again, little as 99 cents, man. I'm telling you, if you're rocking with us on Apple or Spotify, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Answer the poll question, man, if you listen on Spotify. Interested to see a lot of people's comments on that. But you already know the vibes, man. Listen, next Friday, we have a special show. We're going to be continuing our player series. But y'all, this I can't wait to tell y'all who is coming on the show. But you got to be back next Tuesday to know who's coming on the show. Or just follow us on Instagram because there'll be a little reel out on Monday that lets you know who is joining the show next Friday. The boy to Brody. I'm hype about it. Can't wait. Hope y'all have a great weekend, man. We'll see y'all back next Tuesday. Man, where we just going to continue these conversations on these position groups, getting hype, man. Can y'all believe that next Tuesday, it will be August 1st. We will be 31 days away from football in Tennessee. We love y'all, man. For my boy Turn, who was not with me today, it's your boy Ruck in the building, man. We love y'all. We thank you so much for the love and the support. And y'all already know what it is, man. It's straight up Tennessee, baby. We'll see you back next week. We out.